Welcome to Women Lead, a production of the Women of Color Empowerment Institute. We are your hosts. I'm Michelle Austin Pammies.
I'm Bernadette Norris Weeks.
And I'm Kathy Eggleston.
Our guest today is Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. She is the first woman to ever serve as the mayor of Miami-Dade County. She has an impressive leadership background and lives up to her title of being a mayor for everyone.
Now, Mayor Levine Cava currently oversees a metropolitan government with more than 28,000 employees, serving nearly 3 million residents, and managing an annual budget of approximately $9 billion, with a B, dollars.
She has been a social worker, a lawyer serving special needs children and immigrants with Legal Services of Greater Miami, and before becoming mayor, she represented County Commission District 8, helping that area get its share of county resources.
Now, ladies, in the past 5 to 6 years, we've seen an unprecedented number of women running for office, whether it's been city government or county government or Congress, state houses. Women are running at a great rate. Now, we don't know whether that is attributable to the Donald Trump factor or something more recent like a woman's right to choose.
Well, one of the things we do know it's attributable to is competence. These women are professional, they have led, they have served, they care deeply about their communities, they're unafraid to tackle tough issues, and that's part of what Women of Color Empowerment Institute is all about seeing happen.
Absolutely.
So Bernadette, you're right. We have noted a major change in terms of the number of women running for office, but in terms of actual representation in local government, it's still quite low. Especially when you compare the fact that women represent more than 50% of the population. And if you compare the women voting to men voting, women vote a lot more.
One of the things that I am really proud of is the fact that the Women of Color Empowerment Institute has trained a number of women over the years on how to step out and run for public office. We've done this on a nonpartisan basis and with a lot of success in this South Florida area.
Yes, and we want to see more, and so we are looking forward to our conversation with Mayor Daniela Levine Cava, Mayor of Miami-Dade County. We'll be right back after these messages.
This is James.
Jimmy! Mom, Dad, this is James.
Jimmy! James? James Harrison from Roosevelt High?
Jimmy! Jimmy! Oh! You good, Jimmy?
The 2021 Toyota RAV4.
Jimmy!
The RAV for all of you. Right now, lease a new 2021 Toyota RAV4 LE for just $249 a month for 36 months. Toyota. Let's go places.
At the Women of Color Empowerment Institute, our mission is to enhance and expand leadership by women of color. We do this in a variety of different ways, including but not limited to providing mentorship opportunities for young professionals where we assist in helping to create paths to leadership. We empower women to develop capacities for social change. We produce programs that promote heritage awareness, and we provide training opportunities for business and government. Our institute holds seminars focused on professional success techniques, and we host many other events such as our popular Advocates for Change and Leaders Connect. The Women of Color Empowerment Institute publishes a magazine called Women Lead. Our signature event is the Women of Color Empowerment Conference, a yearly conference where hundreds of leaders gather from all across the United States and beyond. To learn more about membership and how you can support our programs or be a sponsor of the Women Lead TV, visit us at nationalwomenofcolor.com. Again, that's nationalwomenofcolor.com.
The law office of Austin Pammies Norris Weeks Powell is a full-service law firm practicing in the area of governmental law, including the representation of municipalities, civil litigation, personal injury, real estate, and corporate transactional matters. With over 100 years of collective experience, our attorneys are admitted to practice before state courts, federal courts, and the United States Supreme Court. We are conveniently located in downtown Fort Lauderdale and can be reached at 954-768-9770. Or for more information about the law firm of Austin Pammies Norris Weeks Powell, visit our website at apnwlaw.com. That's apnwlaw.com.
Welcome back to Women Lead. We have with us Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. She is the mayor of Miami-Dade County. Welcome to the show, Mayor.
Welcome, Mayor.
Welcome. Thank
We're
you
so
so
happy
much.
to have you.
I am so excited to be with you and looking forward to this conversation.
Well, we gave a bit of your bio a little bit earlier in the show, and you have had a tremendous 40-plus year career doing all kinds of things, from being a legal aid lawyer to a legal director of a guardian ad litem program, running a not-for-profit. You have done a number of different things, and I'm wondering, how have those different things helped in your role right now as the Miami-Dade County mayor?
Absolutely everything that I've done before contributes to my readiness to serve as mayor. Whether it's taking care of children who are living in situations of abuse and neglect, because of course I care about them and I care about their families as well, to strengthen them. Whether it's working at legal services and helping people that are facing eviction be able to maintain their homes, get good jobs, representing children in the school system as a lawyer, an advocate for making sure they could thrive and get what they needed to meet their educational needs. Really many, many years that I have served in the community, and all of it informs and shapes the job that I now have as mayor.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Well, I must ask, just as a follow-up question, I know that a lot of women who are watching the show today, and men, want to know about leadership and your style of leadership. And so I'm wondering if you can share with us just a little bit about your style of leadership and what kind of things you found to be helpful as a leader over the years in terms of tips that you may offer.
Well, thank you for that. I love having conversations about leadership and women's leadership particularly, because I think women bring something different. Men too could be compassionate, could be caring, but I think women really often have those special qualities, and also the ability to collaborate, bring people together to solve problems, maybe less ego in how we approach solving problems. So I feel that this is as good a time as any for women to step up, because people need someone who cares. People suffered through this pandemic. Now they're suffering through cost of living increases and the difficulties obtaining housing. There are jobs, but maybe not jobs that really pay the bills. And through it all, women have been the caregivers. They are resilient. And I think we bring depth, and we bring the ability to bring people together to solve problems.
Wow, absolutely, absolutely. Now, Mayor, I want to take you back a little bit. You're so accomplished. You're also a creator. And so way back in 1996, I don't know if you remember when I was involved with Donors Forum of South Florida and all
I
that.
sure do, Kathy.
You were the person who started Catalyst Miami.
Yes.
And your intention was to reach low-income and middle-income communities and really provide services and advocate for change. And so many of our audience members are entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs, whether in the social entrepreneurship or for-profit world. Just tell us about that organization and how you decided to create your own.
Yeah, thanks, Kathy. And I really treasure those days with the Donors Forum when philanthropists came together with social action groups and nonprofits to see how we could make a difference. And of course, philanthropy is a critical piece of it. Government, civil society, and business, we all have to work together. And you came out of a corporate philanthropy, so a special focus that's so important. I have spent a lifetime working in communities that are struggling to get access to basic health care, education, good jobs, housing, and so on. And I was raised that way by my family, and from an early age I was helping my mom on projects. She was a social worker, projects that she was working on, so definitely made an impression on me, and I got my master's in social work as well as my law degree. But throughout my university and graduate school years, I was already working in many communities. So this is just what I do, and my career reflects that. Finally, when I got the chance to start my own organization, I called it the Twin Pillars of Democracy. That was the American dream, economic opportunity for all, access to economic opportunity, and civic responsibility, because our democracy needs both to be strong. And so I was really proud and super proud now of Catalyst Miami. It was originally the Human Services Coalition. Catalyst Miami is at the forefront of really innovative change. And so social entrepreneurship, like you say, I consider that I was and that organization is about social entrepreneurship.
Mayor, the entire country, or the majority, was shocked when the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
And as mayor of a large metropolitan area, how do you feel about the Supreme Court decision? And what do you think the consequences will be?
Yes, yes. Well, first, let me say, talking about consequences, that elections have consequences. Because certainly it was the plan of those who elected a certain president to flip the Supreme Court. And essentially that's what they did. And very unfortunately, because qualified candidates that should have been put into place on the Supreme Court during the Obama administration were not given a fair chance. And unfortunately, then the tide has really changed at the Supreme Court. But I think we have to look at it in a big perspective. The Supreme Court was not always the leader or protector of constitutional rights. It's also legislatures. We have to elect legislatures that will make laws that the majority supports, because the majority supports access to abortion. So choice over our own bodies, this is really women's health care we're talking about, that is a choice that we have enjoyed on the backs of our foremothers who fought for it, and we always assumed we'd be able to continue with that freedom. But that freedom has now been compromised by this Supreme Court decision. So we have to fight hard in state legislatures, and that is what I will do, as well as anything in my power at the local level to make sure we have access for women to choose when to have a family, how to have a family, how to take care of their personal health care decisions.
It's important right now when you think of the fact that if we get a senator in Florida elected that could support a woman's right to choose, we can have a law, which is sitting right now in the Senate, which would codify Roe v. Wade. So this election consequences argument, I agree with it absolutely.
Elections certainly matter. Elections matter. We are going to move you into an area of affordable housing, and I'm wondering what innovative and creative things is the county focused on right now to address such a big issue to Floridians.
Well, thank you so much for that. And I always worked on issues of housing access. It's always been a challenge in South Florida, especially Miami-Dade. But post-pandemic, it has become a crisis. We have so many people moving here, the demands on our limited supply of housing huge, and with it the prices we know have skyrocketed, sometimes double and triple the previous rent, and landlords pushing people out so they can jack up the prices or rebuild even. So I declared a housing crisis in April, an affordability crisis. We launched the Building Blocks program. We put together a $75 million fund to be last funding on affordable developments. We put in place a new Office of Housing Advocacy and a Tenants' Bill of Rights. And we have helped nearly 1,000 people who are facing eviction and other housing challenges. And with our federal dollars, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, 50,000 people have been assisted to avoid eviction. So we help the tenants, we help the landlords, we pay their bills, and we don't want landlords to gouge. You know, we know their costs have gone up and maybe the tenants are struggling, so we offer that little extra cushion. So just Monday, we're going to be launching a new program called HOMES, HOMES. It's going to be comprehensive. It's about an $80 million program. We're not talking small here. We're talking big because we have to stabilize people's housing. We're losing our workers. We're losing our families. Families are losing hope. And it's inhumane. Housing is essential to our people, to our economy. So I'm very excited about the program we're putting together. It's in my budget, which will be approved by the County Commission in September. And I need the public to come out and support, because if the Commission does not go along with my tax proposal, which is a cut, a historic 1% millage cut, the first time in 10 years, they don't go along with that and they want to go steeper, we will not have these programs and we will lose our workers and our families.
Yes, one has to wonder really where the labor force is living in Miami-Dade County, given the
really
prices.
Yes,
Yes.
I mean, really, in all of South Florida, I am actually one of those people who lost my adult son to a different market because he wants to buy a home, young family, and
Yes.
this market skyrocketed. It's out of range, and so
Yes.
he's left.
Yes, I'm so sorry to hear that, and we don't want that to happen. We're fighting to keep our people, and it will really hurt all of us, not just our family, but the entire community if we don't get a handle on it. So we're putting money into renovating to keep it affordable, money to help people who are struggling to pay mortgages, especially on fixed income, so they don't get foreclosed on. Funds for landlords to subsidize the rent and bring it down to a workforce level. And we also have about 32,000 new units in the pipeline. I know in Broward as well, there are a number of initiatives. 32,000, that's a good number, not enough, but a good number. We need to keep moving and getting
Miami-Dade
more.
actually does better than most counties, so you all.
I honestly think
And
what
it's
we're
still
doing
not
is
enough.
groundbreaking. I think it will be transformational across the country. And I think that what we've done with the Emergency Rental Assistance Program has got to be one of the best in the country.
Wow.
Congratulations on that.
As I'm listening to you talk about taking action and doing things for families and doing things for children, and you have a long history of really impacting people and families and low-income folks who need it and middle-income folks. I want to ask in this context, do you find that women leaders, female leaders, are more responsive to the needs of people and families than others?
What do we all think?
Than others like Marsha?
Yeah, look, there are a lot of things to pay attention to. But first and foremost is our people. They are our greatest resource, and we need to invest in people. We need people to know that we have their backs, that we are going to do our very best to take care of them during difficult times. Again, I think that's why I was elected as mayor during a difficult time. I think people wanted someone who cares. And I'm not saying, again, that men don't care, but my opponent was busy talking about cutting government right in the middle of a pandemic when everybody needed help. That was not the right message.
Mayor, you are one of the most powerful leaders in the state of Florida. You are. I'm just going to put it out there. And so I'm wondering, with respect to challenges that Miami-Dade County has, being that it's such a large metropolitan area in the state, the largest county in the state, can you tell us what the largest challenge is that's facing the county right now?
Certainly, housing, as we've been discussing, is our immediate biggest challenge. If we don't fix it, we're going to lose more people like your son, and we cannot afford to lose them. The existential threat is climate. And I think it's great that nobody is questioning anymore the fact of climate change. We all see extreme weather, the storms, the flooding, the heat. So we have to lead and be bold. And insurance rates going up, or even you can't get insurance. Flooding, that's hurting everybody, and infrastructure needs. So we're working super hard on reducing our carbon to help be part of the world's solution, cut the temperature rise, global temperature rise, which we must all do because we really are facing very, very dire consequences. So we have electrified our bus fleet, or our vehicles, our buildings are more energy efficient. We're changing the code for others, promoting green building. We're incentivizing businesses to reduce private businesses and private buildings to reduce their energy output. So many, many, many things that we're doing, and we have a great Climate 305 action plan, climate change. I went to COP26 in Scotland to talk to other nations about it, and we're leading the way on extreme heat. It's extremely hot out there because of the combination of humidity and temperature. So we don't have some of those spikes they have in other places, but we have constant extreme heat, more than 6 months out of the year. So we have the most number of days of really dangerously high heat. And we appointed the first in the world chief heat officer with a campaign to educate people, to protect our workers, to protect everyday people. We're planting trees like nobody's business. Trees absorb carbon. They also create the shade and the cooling, white roofs. And then how do we adapt? We have to find places for the water to go when there's flooding. We have to build our buildings higher. Many, many changes that we have to make, and that also brings down our insurance prices. So we have some favorable flood insurance rates because of what we've done, but we need to do more, and then that helps everybody reduce their costs.
Well, the answer to the question was there isn't one great challenge. Obviously,
There are
you're
several.
facing many
Right.
great
Well,
challenges,
yes, true.
and
true.
you seem to be addressing all of them. So, Mayor, one last question from me. I don't know if there are any more, but you are known as the mayor for everyone.
Oh.
And so
Never heard that, Mayor. Come on.
No, I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mayor for everyone.
Very proud to know that. Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit how you address or you prioritize the divergent needs of this broad community you represent.
Well, thank you for that nickname. I did not know that. But I do think that I have led through some real crises. COVID, which I worked so hard to make sure people had access to the vaccine, even when we had difficulties obtaining through the state. We're the only place in the state that still provides COVID vaccines for free. Also testing, we've had a very robust testing program. So basically public health issues. Now, the building that fell in Surfside, which a tragedy no one could have ever imagined, has led to improvements at the state, but also locally we've improved. And Broward and Dade were the only ones before that had special building inspections requirements based on Hurricane Andrew, our experience. So now the whole state is doing some more things, and Dade even more so. So that was a crisis. After 10 years of no officer losing his life in a direct confrontation on the street. So we laid to rest Detective Etchi Echeverra. So many, many things that we have coped with. I just think that everybody matters. I care about those who are struggling and suffering because that's where I come from. That's what I've always done. I care about business because if businesses don't thrive, then we don't have jobs and we can't help people to pay the bills and have meaningful, productive lives. I care about our civil groups, our nonprofits, because they're doing the heavy lift to make sure that people get the supports in the communities they need, and the arts and the culture, which make life so great. And parks. I'll just mention parks, because parks was very low on people's radar screens until the pandemic, and everyone figured out we had to go outside. And parks are great equalizers, right? Everybody goes to parks. Rich people, poor people, young people, old people, people with disabilities. So we have really doubled down on parks. So I just think I'm a person who believes that government does best when it's truly led by people's voices, people's concerns, and that's how I'll always be.
And one last question I'll sneak in here. Transportation. Is there anything that can be done, I guess, at the
Yes,
state
we have
level?
to touch on transportation for sure, but I do want to mention equity. So I have my 4 pillars economy, we've talked about environment, engagement, which I just mentioned, so critical, and all with an equity lens, because we have to be very deliberate about it. We can't just hope that people will have these opportunities because there are many barriers to people participating. So I have the first ever Office of Equity in the county, and we've done a lot to make sure that contracts are awarded in a more equitable way, that hiring is done in a more equitable way, that we distribute dollars in the community in a more equitable way. So I do want to underscore that I think people recognize that. And, you know, we're in a time when, thanks to the federal government and various supports that have come out of this pandemic, the infrastructure bill, the CARES Act, now the Inflation Reduction Act, brings real dollars to our community that we have an opportunity to spend in a way that will lift up the rising tide, to lift all boats. Now, as far as transit, we do not have good quality transit in Miami-Dade County. We have a metro rail system, which is good. We have a bus network that's very extensive, but we have some major improvements in the work. And my budget, knock on wood, the commission will pass, finally has enough money to fund all 6 of our new transit corridors. It's called the SMART Plan. So I'm super excited about that. The only way to solve traffic is to get people out of cars. And to get people out of cars, you have to provide transit that's reliable, efficient, and accessible. So we're working hard to bring that forward.
And I'm
as
sure
well.
you heard about Broward County's recent vote as well. Just
Yes,
yesterday.
you did us. You upped us because we have a half penny and you have a full penny.
I think so. Yes.
Yes, and back in the day when it was being decided how to vote, only a half penny was approved, and that was not enough for the plan. And that was not really communicated. I was not in office at the time, so I don't think the public really got the truth. And then they were frustrated that the half penny didn't go far enough. So kudos to Broward.
Great.
I'd like to underline a statement made by the mayor. The mayor said that she was intentional about equity.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know why she's called the mayor for everyone.
That's right. That's right.
Makes that clear.
Well, Mayor, we really have enjoyed having you with us
Thank you
today.
so
We
much.
Thank you so much. And this has been a really special show. And until the next time,
Be empowered.